Michael, I'm sorry, did Brian Roberts, Mike Kavanaugh, or Mike Lazarus hear or read any of the things that Charlie Kirk said about black women? About black people?
I was about to go there.
About Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I mean, that's what they said, respect and treat people with kindness. We have been seeing the last 48 hours. A lot of folks post a lot of those comments. So imagine if you are a black, Latino, Asian American woman working for NBC, Comcast, Universal, how you would feel when the leadership sends that out. And then talking about him, his faith was important to him. But clearly, the stuff he said about people who look like us clearly didn't matter to these NBC Comcast executives.
Yeah, you know, NBC, Comcast, and I know MSNBC has spun off from NBC, but you still have the same mentality running MSNBC with Rebecca Cutler, who fired.
No. Keep in mind. No. Hold up, Michael. Keep in mind. Mark Lazarus, who's running that other company, he was on this email. So go ahead. He was one of the. Yeah. Mark Lazarus is on the email.
Right. But, okay, so I was on Carl Nelson's show yesterday, WOL out of Baltimore, talking about this. And when you read some of Charlie Kirk's comments about intelligent, educated, accomplished black women, and let's be clear, the people, college dropouts like Charlie Kirk, are intimidated by intelligent, educated African Americans, especially African American women. He said that you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. He said you had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously. He's talking about them being beneficiaries of affirmative action, but he doesn't want to talk about the racism that caused affirmative action to have to be created in the first place. This whole thing, what you just showed from the New York Post, I think that was the New York Post you were showing those headlines from. That reminds me of an article from Huffington Post from 2014 called "When the Media Treats White Suspects and Killers Better Than Black Victims." And what this whole article does is it shows how when a white person goes and kills somebody or is a mass murderer, the media goes out of their way to show how it's so much out of their character. We're so surprised. He was a good engineer, things like this. But when it's an African American who is the victim of violence, they make it seem like they brought it on themselves. They go all back into their history, you know, and they had a drug problem and things of this nature. So that's what they're showing. But this is, you know, this is MAGA being exposed for what they are. OK, and this ain't Christianity. This is white Christian nationalism. Let's be very clear. You know this, Roland. This is white Christian nationalism. They have no sympathy for African Americans. They have no sympathy for immigrants, things of this nature. And then when I saw Governor Cox say he was hoping it was not one of us, he was hoping possibly it was somebody from another country. Now, I know he has been working even before this to bring down the tone of political rhetoric. And he's been working with the governor of Colorado. But some people may mistake that for saying, oh, you were hoping this was an immigrant who did this shooting? Because if it was, what would happen then? How would this explode? How would this explode? How would this be used if it was an immigrant who did this?
All right, folks, big news today. They announced in Utah that a suspect was arrested in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, the right-wing provocateur who was gunned down while speaking at a university in Utah. Tyler Robinson is the young man's name. He was turned in by his father, former law enforcement, former sheriff, minister. He comes from a MAGA family. His grandmother's on record saying, I don't know anybody in this family who is a Democrat. And now we're hearing that, according to reports, that He was a groiper. That is a far, far, far right. Nick Fuentes, the racist, white supremacist, acknowledged white supremacist, anti-Semite. He apparently is a follower of him. Also, crazy deranged Laura Loomer. She's been deleting a lot of her tweets as well. A lot of her tweets dealing with Charlie Kirk as well. It has been an unbelievable day, folks. And just watching all of this stuff unfold, it's been unbelievable. There was also, of course, the news conference. This weird statement from Cash Patel. So I don't know what the hell he was talking about. But check this out. So Nick Fuentes, now y'all need to understand, this dude had 200,000 people watching him live last night. He has cultivated a massive following, and he was highly critical of Charlie Kirk, attacking Charlie Kirk as not being a real Christian. The videos are amazing to see this whole back and forth. Oh, this is also the guy who had lunch with Donald Trump along with Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. So just so y'all understand how all this is wrapped up. And what's crazy is, remember, they were blaming the left, calling for folks to be fired, all sorts of stuff. But it's amazing how their tone has totally shifted. Totally shifted. Now that a white guy, we tried to tell you. Remember, I told everybody, stop jumping to conclusions. Let's play it all out. But no, the left, they're radicals, they're crazy, they're terrorists. What say you now? So, Fuentes, who was on the receiving end of a big New York Times article last week, realizing he's about to get a lot of heat for his views, he posted this video today.
This is a very delicate situation. This is a very delicate situation. I fear that this has set off a chain reaction. I pray to God there is no further violence. I pray to God that nobody else is hurt as a result of this. I hope that it stops here. It should stop here. To all of my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you, I disown you in the strongest possible terms. That is not what we are about. And the same goes obviously for the other side. And I want to make that very clear. It would be a profound moral, political mistake for anybody to take the bait and to engage in any kind of reprisal, retaliation, revenge. Remember, we are the good side. And what makes us good is that we have Christ. What makes Christianity and Christ so different from the other religions is that our religion is based on the bearing of suffering for the sake of even those that persecute us. An overflowing of love, an overflowing of self-giving love, so much of it cannot be contained. An unconditional, absolute standard of love for all of God's children, even those that are misguided, even those that persecute us, even the most heinous among us. That is what makes us different. That is what makes us good. You think you're good? You're not. You are not good. I am not good. You are a man. I am a man. You are a sinner. I am a sinner. We cannot save ourselves. We cannot save this world. God can save us. God can save the world. And God saves us, and God saves the world by drawing all of us up onto the cross with him. And we join not just in his glory, but in his suffering. Real suffering, not imaginary, not a nice story, real suffering, real death, real destruction, real misery. We bear a cross like Christ bears a cross, like his disciples, like the martyrs, like the saints bear a cross. And you better get comfortable up there. Drink up. And you bear that cross not for your kin, not for yourself, not for your children, which are an extension of yourself. You bear that cross and that suffering. You drink from that chalice for your enemies.
Sounds pretty desperate to me, huh? Yeah, I thought so. Utah governor. He has been talking about how we need to bring folks together. Here's Utah Governor Spencer Cox. He was hoping the killer wasn't even American.
You know, this bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, "Hey, we don't do that here." And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year.
And then you got the stupid Hall of Famer, Donald Trump Jr., who's an absolute idiot. Oh, this is what he had to say.
They realize they lost the debate entirely, so they have to resort to violence. And contrary to what we're seeing elsewhere and online, it is not going both ways. It is going one way. It's coming from those aligned with the Democrat Party. The hate has been fomented by those in the Democrat Party, and you can probably play hundreds of hours of those clips. It's coming from the media. Some of them are doing a quick course correction and probably scrub their social media feeds for all the things I've said about Charlie, myself, my father over the last few years. But you can't call someone who you disagree with or simply can't win an argument with a Nazi, a fascist, a dictator, a greatest threat to democracy in the history of civilization, and then pretend you had nothing to do with it when the more radical wing, and there does not seem to be all that much difference to me these days, takes up arms and tries to kill those they disagree with. It's not one way. It's not both ways. It is simply one way. And anyone who's saying otherwise, should be thrown off the air.
That's interesting, because that's what MAGA's now doing. And man, they are scrubbing left and right, y'all. Oh, let's take South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who's running for governor. This is Nancy yesterday before today's news.
This shit ends. Like, enough is enough. And now I have to deal with real safety concerns. It sounds like the shooter was a tranny or pro-tranny. And just because I want to protect women, that I'm worried about getting murdered? Are you fucking kidding me? It's out of control, and enough is enough. And I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to be more vigilant than ever. I'm going to be louder than I've ever been until this shit stops. It's got to stop. And all the security measures, we've taken many security measures leading up to this because of these lunatic trannies. But now, I mean, I have police posted outside of my offices in South Carolina. I have employees that are afraid to come to work. I have children who think they're going to get murdered at school. And so it's going to end. And you guys in the press need to be more responsible about this and actually be fair and cover the things that are happening. It's unbelievable what's happening in this country. And, the left and the Democrat Party has allowed this stuff to happen. And I'm fucking sick and tired of it.
Do you know who the shooter is?
No, but we've heard reports privately, and I guess it's being reported out now, some of the anti-fascist, pro-transgender things that were written either inside the rifle or on the ammunition. You might know better than I do. Do you know if they've identified
There's been nothing
yet?
that has been put in court documents or sworn to at all.
Yeah, we know this is a political assassination, and any theory otherwise is just bullshit and a lie. So I hope that you guys will report on it honestly.
Congresswoman, could I...
That was yesterday. The Wall Street Journal ran that erroneous article talking about there were trans, whatever the hell on the inside of the rifle. That was a bullshit story. So guess what Nancy Mace was tweeting today, y'all? Please show her tweet. Please show, because she had such righteous indignation and blaming the media, and you don't cover these things. And so, can we pull a tweet up, please? Okay. Give me a second, y'all. Nancy, y'all, was just full of herself, and she was tweeting out, about how we need to now pray for the shooter. Now, again, she was full of it yesterday. She had such vitriol yesterday. But Nancy sounds a little bit different today. Nancy said yes. Tell him to go back to the death penalty. Now she tweets, we know Charlie Kirk would want us to pray for such an evil and lost individual like Tyler Robinson to find Jesus Christ. We will try to do the same. Matter of fact, it gets better. She said, we truly believe if Tyler Robinson had ever sat down across from Charlie, the great debater, the man of faith and grace he was, Tyler wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Wow. That is an incredibly different tone than Nancy yesterday. Ain't that grand, y'all? So I got more to show you, okay? Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer, who was ripping into Charlie Kirk. Now we know that Tyler Robinson apparently was following Laura Loomer on social media. So Loomer has been feverishly delete. Come on, pull up her tweet, please. Let's show you what poor little Laura was saying. They sent a trained sniper to assassinate Charlie Kirk while he was sitting next to a table of hats that said 47. You could be next. I hate to say it, but I have a sick feeling we'll be seeing more targeted assassinations. The left are terrorists. Today. Next, come on, y'all, next. It's time for the Trump administration. Now, this is also, you see September 10th. This is also September 10th, y'all. 2 days ago, the day of the shooting. It's time for the Trump administration to shut down, defund, and prosecute every single leftist organization. If Charlie Kirk dies from his injuries, his life cannot be in vain. We must shut these lunatic leftists down once and for all. The left is a national security threat. Don't we have another Laura Loomer post? Do we have another one? Okay, well, because here it says I had 3 of them. It says I had 3, so don't you have another one? My graph says I have 3 graphs. Okay. All right, y'all. Now, this is the same Laura Loomer, y'all, who was... Pull it up, please. So here you have Laura Loomer. Okay. Again, y'all, these people, you gotta, they just make up stuff. But this is Laura Loomer law before the shooting, y'all. Oh, by the way, she deleted this post. I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I say he has revealed himself as political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. TPUSA was only able to thrive thanks to the generosity of President Trump. On the one-year anniversary of the assassination attempt of Trump's life, Charlie hosted comic Dave Smith at TPUSA's SAS conference, where Dave Smith was able to speak to a bunch of conservative youth and an organization that claims to be pro-Trump. 3 weeks ago, Dave Smith called for President Trump to be impeached and removed from office, even over his decision to blow up Iran's nuclear facilities. Charlie played both sides of the Iran issue on his show, as we all saw, because he wants to play to both sides of the aisle. The honorable thing to do is to have a position and actually defend to the death instead of flip-flopping. That was, of course, posted before he was shot and killed. But then the same Laura Loomer came back, and now she was calling for things to change. Yeah, same one. So they're losing it. Let's see here. Who else did I have? Who else shall I shall bring up? Let's see here. Okay, got some other tweets. Because again, y'all, it has been hilarious to watch these people because they have just been going left and right. Oh, Elon Musk, he tweeted, "The left is the party of murder." But now we know it wasn't the left. Oh, how about crackpot James Woods, the actor, MAGA, nutcase? "It's not gun violence, it's Democrat violence." Then he tweeted, "Dear leftists, we can have a conversation or a civil war. One more shot from your side and you will not get this choice again." Then James Woods posted something. Placing the blame of Charlie Kirk being killed at the feet of Democrats.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
And we are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
But all those were lies, y'all. All of these are lies. And now they are now scurrying. They're scurrying. They're literally on social media deleting posts. They're changing their tune. They were calling for people to be fired. 2 sources say that Pete Hegseth has been saying, "Find any member of the military who tweeted anything negative about Charlie Kirk so they can be punished." You got crazy-ass Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins talking about, "That's right, we will cancel anybody. We're going after anybody who say anything negative about Charlie Kirk." But they're now trying to figure out, oh, I love the latest. He was radicalized when he went to college. He was there for 1 semester. These people are nuts. And what they did was, it was a total rush to judgment from the moment it happens. And what did I tell y'all? Chill out. Allow this thing to progress. Let's find the truth. No! Everybody. Time magazine, political violence. They all going. Now we know it was one of their own. HBCUs getting bomb threats. We had nothing to do with this. White dude at a white college in a white state gets shot by a white guy. That's white on white violence. They were calling for civil war. Jesse Waters was foaming at the mouth. We're going to take these people. Now it's, matter of fact, y'all, control room, I need y'all right now, pull up the New York Post website. I want to show y'all how white people, white conservatives, what they do when somebody white, one of their own, does something. Oh, y'all going to love this here. This right now is on the front page of the New York Post. Y'all going to love this. Losing faith. They got a photo of Tyler smiling. A photo of him smiling with his mom and dad and his two brothers. Tyler Robinson was raised Mormon and allegedly killed Charlie Kirk moments after influencer praised the church. Now y'all know damn well, if this the same New York Post, man, if y'all scroll down, they will have, if somebody black kills somebody, oh my God, they are going to have all kind of crazy stuff. Matter of fact, go on down. Y'all gonna see an article. Cold-blooded maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. I hope y'all see. Do y'all see the juxtaposition? Y'all see this photo of the black guy who allegedly killed a white couple? Maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. But the murderous white guy, oh my God, he's losing faith. He lost his faith. This shows you how shameful and despicable these people are, Candace. I mean, to watch this, now it's Charlie would have prayed with him. Oh, he would have held his hand. If only they could have prayed together. They were foaming at the mouth 24 hours ago. But now, all of a sudden, Candace, one of their own, again, daddy, sheriff, gun lover, daddy, mama is scrubbing her Facebook page. Got photos on the Facebook page of them holding guns and all kind of stuff. So we got a gun-loving, MAGA, Trump-supporting white boy from a Donald Trump, MAGA, gun-loving family that killed a Donald Trump, MAGA, gun-loving white guy in Charlie Kirk. That's white-on-white crime.
And don't forget, his mother said that he was the ideal model student. And, you know, when I look at this and I think about what went on years ago, because the authorities in Utah said that they received 7,000 tips. They hadn't received this many tips since the Boston Marathon bombing. And what happened with that bombing? The same thing that you're talking about. They put two people on the front of the newspaper, and then they had to pay millions of dollars. I think it was the Daily News or the Post had to pay millions of dollars because they got it wrong, because of the way that they portray them. The same way that they're portraying this young man now, as if nothing is wrong. And that is what is the matter with journalism today. I think all of this is wrapped up in journalism. All of it's wrapped up in the media, how we actually portray the people who did what they did and try to find some truth in it, like people like us on the other side. It is very difficult to discern because everybody is out there giving their opinions. We have to be smarter consumers, know that a lot of people who are out there, who are posting, who are saying things, they're doing this for just pure entertainment. What that woman said about the transgender and stuff that was written on the bullets, that was all made up. Look at Fuentes, that the young man that you showed a bite. He's been kicked off several social media platforms because of hate speech. But now he's talking about Jesus on the cross. Roland, I'm sorry. I just cannot even take some of these people seriously because I think in their heart of hearts, in terms of what they posted and all that you've gone through, they don't take themselves seriously. They're really kind of like acting to me. I mean, that's what I see. They are putting on a performance in order to eventually get what they want, which is vote, to keep people in the middle of chaos and to continue to divide people. That is what is going on now. That's what we see playing out in the media. And actually, this is what we've always seen. Nothing new, nothing has changed. It's just that now we have a digital record of everything that we've thought and everything that, we think is happening, and we now have to go to correct ourselves. But this has been happening for decades. Nothing new.
Yeah, and what's crazy here, Michael, all these media people are getting exposed because what they've been doing is, oh my God, lionizing Charlie Kirk. Again, Christian father, Fox News is planning a primetime special, all this sort of stuff. In fact, check this out. So NBC. Now remember, they fired Matthew Dowd, the commentator, and I'm going to tell you what he said in a second. But NBC, the leadership of NBC, and we're talking Brian Roberts, Mike Kavanaugh, and Mark Lazarus. This is what they said to all of the employees at Comcast, NBC Universal. This is the entire company. The tragic loss of Charlie Kirk, a 31-year-old father, husband, and advocate for open debate, whose faith was important to him, reminds us of the fragility of life and the urgent need for unity in our nation. Our hearts are heavy as his passing leaves a grieving family and a country grappling with division. There's no place for violence or hate in our society. You may have seen that MSNBC recently ended its association with a contributor who made an unacceptable and insensitive comment about this horrific event. That coverage was at odds with fostering civil dialogue and being willing to listen to the points of view of those who have differing opinions. We should be able to disagree robustly and passionately, but ultimately with respect. We need to do better. Charlie Kirk believed that when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. Regardless of whether you agree with his political views, his words and actions underscore the urgency to maintain a respectful exchange of ideas, a principle we must champion. We believe in the power of communication to bring us together. Today, that belief feels more vital than ever. Something essential has fractured in our public discourse. And as a company that values the power of information, we have a responsibility to help mend it. As employees, we ask you to embody our values in your work and communities. We should engage with respect, listen, and treat people with kindness. Michael, I'm sorry, did Brian Roberts, Mike Kavanaugh, or Mike Lazarus hear or read any of the things that Charlie Kirk said about black women? About black people?
I was about to go there.
About Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I mean, that's what they said, respect and treat people with kindness. We have been seeing the last 48 hours. A lot of folks post a lot of those comments. So imagine if you are a black, Latino, Asian American woman working for NBC, Comcast, Universal, how you would feel when the leadership sends that out. And then talking about him, his faith was important to him. But clearly, the stuff he said about people that look like us clearly didn't matter to these NBC Comcast executives.
Yeah, you know, NBC, Comcast, and I know MSNBC has spun off from NBC, but you still have the same mentality running MSNBC with Rebecca Cutler, who fired.
No. Keep in mind. Keep in mind. No. Hold up, Michael. Keep in mind. Mark Lazarus, who's running that other company, he was on this email. So go ahead. He was one of the. Yeah. Mark Lazarus is on the email.
Right. But okay, so I was on Carl Nelson's show yesterday, WOL out of Baltimore, talking about this. And when you read some of Charlie Kirk's comments about intelligent, educated, accomplished black women, and let's be clear, the people, college dropouts like Charlie Kirk, are intimidated by intelligent, educated African Americans, especially African American women. He said that you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. He said you had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously. He's talking about them being beneficiaries of affirmative action, but he doesn't want to talk about the racism that caused affirmative action to have to be created in the first place. This whole thing, what you just showed from the New York Post, I think that was the New York Post you were showing those headlines from. That reminds me of an article from Huffington Post from 2014 called "When the Media Treats White Suspects and Killers Better Than Black Victims." And what this whole article does is it shows how when a white person goes and kills somebody or is a mass murderer, the media goes out of their way to show how it's so much out of their character. We're so surprised. He was a good engineer, things like this. But when it's an African American who is the victim of violence, they make it seem like they brought it on themselves. They go all back into their history, you know, and they had a drug problem and things of this nature. So that's what they're showing. But this is, you know, this is MAGA being exposed for what they are. OK, and this ain't Christianity. This is white Christian nationalism. Let's be very clear. You know this, Roland. This is white Christian nationalism. They have no sympathy for African Americans. They have no sympathy for immigrants, things of this nature. And then when I saw Governor Cox say he was hoping it was not one of us, he was hoping possibly it was somebody from another country. Now, I know he has been working even before this to bring down the tone of political rhetoric, and he's been working with the governor of Colorado. But some people may mistake that for saying, "Oh, you were hoping this was an immigrant who did this shooting?" Because if it was, what would happen then? How would this explode? How would this explode? How would this be used if it was an immigrant who did this?
I mean, Matt, that's what's so crazy. They literally are disappointed. I can't believe it was one of us. They are shocked. They are despondent that a Mormon, a MAGA Republican, gun-loving Mormon would shoot Charlie Kirk. They're just like, we can't believe this. We can't. And I love that people talk about Charlie. Charlie would have told him about Jesus. Nancy Mace, he's Mormon. And he got shot at the largest university in Utah, which is run by Mormons.
Look, hate is the heuristic. And what's so interesting about this is what you highlighted in talking about Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes and even Nancy Mace is this is political violence, because what this is you have a person who assassinated him because he didn't think he was conservative enough. And that's what I think is one of the lost parts of this conversation is there's not a discussion of the fact that if you foment hate and you blame the other side for all the ills, I mean, not only do you have the historical backdrop of exactly what happened in Nazi Germany and other places around the world where somebody was scapegoated and then it turned into, you know, mass genocide, right, or mass casualty. But what you have here is you have people who are basically on the same side, if you will, who are so enraged by hate and so invigorated by the hate that they're killing each other because they think the other person is not the embodiment of who they say they are. I mean, when you started with those tweets about Laura Loomer, it's exactly what she was saying about Charlie Kirk, that he wasn't truly who he said he was. And that's what makes this particularly problematic and also interesting to an extent, because they jumped immediately to it's the leftist, right? That's the bell we ring every time we want to galvanize this base and we want to foment people saying, hey, your country's being stolen from you. Your whiteness affords you a greater life than what you have now. And that black guy down the street is the one who's stolen it from you, right? So they're already kind of in that little cesspool. And what happens here when you have Charlie Kirk, who is being lionized despite saying some abhorrent things during the course of his time on Earth, what you have is people who are trying to out-conservative each other. That's exactly what happened here. And you're never going to see that angle of the conversation because it doesn't meet the narrative. The narrative is it's the left that's doing it. The narrative is it's, you know, Nancy Mace talking about transgender people and these other things where there's no evidence whatsoever for that, is because that's the tone they strike every time. It's always the other that is the, the group that is to whom the ill should be attributed, the reason for the ills. So that's what I see here. This is political violence, but it's political violence on the same side of the aisle from people who are trying to out-conservative each other. And his life was taken because this young man didn't think he was conservative enough. And that is the part of the conversation we're not hearing, because it's not about the truth.
Yeah, now I have it. Now I saw that. Now hold up. I saw that earlier. I have not seen that confirmed. I saw someone posting that. I saw that being bandied about. We have not seen that confirmed. So we do know that this Groyper community, Candace, I don't know if you've been looking up these folks. It can explain to the people, but this is the Nick Fuentes group. This is the far. I mean, Charlie Kirk was already far right. These people were right of him. Fuentes, an acknowledged racist, an acknowledged anti-Semite. I mean, he is a virulent racist, has a huge following. They felt Charlie Kirk was a fraud.
Is right in that when we're talking about conservatives, I like what Matt said. Conservatives trying to out-conservative the next person, because these, what are they, Growfites, you said? These are the ones who think that the whole white race is being displaced for the worst of human mankind, and that they're the only group that should actually exist and lead the world. That's basically what they believe. So they're really kind of smashing the belief system and values of every other race on the planet besides white people. So if you think about anything within that spectrum, that's what they believe. So that really is, kind of out conservating the conservatives that are out there. But, it reminds me of something, people really don't understand that when they get online, they bait people to do things. And you have people who get online for one reason, and I'm not necessarily talking about Charlie Kirk. It could be anybody that you've played tonight. Get online to get the attention that they want. And you've got other people on the other side try to out-attention you to get your attention. And this is the ultimate way that Tyler Robinson got attention. He said, you know what, I'm going offline and I'm going to do something in real time. And now he's getting the most attention. And that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted all of us to be talking about him right now. He said, I'm going to outdo all of you. I'm going to turn over the menu. I was watching that Charlie Sheen documentary, and he was talking about how he went from women to men because he took crack. And he said he turned over the menu to men. He was like, anything else? That's how I feel about this young man. He was like, what can I do? Is there anything else I can do to out-conservative the conservatives that are out there. And actually, he did it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's sitting somewhere in that jail cell and he's saying, I did it. I got exactly what I wanted. Everyone's talking about me. I reached my goal. And anything that you're doing on social media right now, I've just outdone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, just watching these people. I mean, they literally are losing it. And if y'all have, so that idiot Dinesh D'Souza, felon, so he decided, like, this is their new thing. So now here's their new thing, y'all. Tyler Robinson is every conservative parent's worst nightmare. Send your kid to college where he is radicalized into a violent anti-fascist by the sly, scheming leftist professors. We need to put radical academia on trial along with its cherished product, Tyler Robinson. Y'all, the boy went to that university for one semester. And then, let me find it. Then apparently he was studying engineering. He was some apprentice some technical school. Like, these people are insane. They really are insane. They are grasping at anything. What they cannot fathom, and the reason they can't deal with this, Matt, is because they don't even want to acknowledge those white domestic terrorists on January 6th. They refuse to acknowledge that there are nutcases, there are people who are violent on the right, and in their minds, that idiot Eric Trump was on social, did some interview going, no bullets are coming from us, only the other side. Boy, put the drugs down, Matt.
I mean, that's because the truth doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the soundbite. And I think Candace was getting right at that, as she always does. And, you know, it's about wanting to get the vote, wanting to get that further cadre of people who are hanging on your every word every time you post a YouTube video. It's not about the truth. And none of these people have to ever be accountable because nobody ever calls them out. Now, what's interesting, back to my point earlier, is the cannibalism you're seeing right now, where they're eating each other because they're trying to out-conservative the other person. And I'm no true political philosopher, but it stands to reason that a true conservative would be against fascism, right? Would be against any government that is so large and so authoritarian that it's trampling on the rights of the individual, especially if it becomes an enormous government. But the point is, Dinesh D'Souza is not talking about that. He's just hitting the talking points, because all this is about is hitting the same tone every time. The leftists, those other people, those people who don't deserve the life you want, have the life you want because they've stolen it from you. And the more you say that, the more you strike that tone, and it doesn't matter if there's any truth to it. All that matters is how you make people feel, and that's fomenting anger in them because they're unhappy with their own lives and they want to outsource the reason for that, right? Not looking at themselves, but saying it's somebody down the road, it's that guy's fault, and because it's his fault, he's going to be the one that I point the finger at. That's all this comes down to. It isn't about the truth at all.
You know, in fact, Michael, you know, on the same day Charlie Kirk was shot, there was a shooting at a Colorado school. 3 people were shot, and Denver Post is now reporting that it was a rabid anti-Semite and white supremacist who really adored the Columbine shooters. And his name was Desmond Holley. His social media accounts were littered with references to mass shootings and anti-Semitic views. The sheriff's office spokeswoman Jackie Kelly said Holley was radicalized through an extremist network. And in a photo posted to TikTok, Holley can be seen in a black T-shirt with the word "wrath" emblazoned in red, a reference to the shirt that Columbine shooter Dylan Klebold wore. His accounts are littered with Holocaust denialism, which of course is pushed by folks like Nick Fuentes. One recent account appears to have been in reference to a prominent white supremacist slogan, according to the Denver Post. His accounts included additional anti-Semitic videos as well as videos loving Nazi uniforms, and on and on and on. That's the other shooting that happened that day. A crazed, deranged white boy on the right. For all these folk who keep talking about black on black crime, and that's all, Charlie Kirk's last 24 hours of his Twitter feed was all about that whole deal. I mean, these people are going on and on and on, and here they are. Here they are. Like, we have a mass shooting on the same day Charlie Kirk got shot. 2 white boys, heterosexual, not transgender.
Yeah, where's Nancy Mace now? Yeah, you know, Roland. Yeah, so this is really deep. Now, first of all, after the shooting in Utah, is Donald Trump going to send the National Guard into Utah, to deal with the crime problem and deal with the murders? I'm just curious. But we have to understand these people are grifters. Nancy Mace, Nick Fuentes, all of them. These are grifters. Okay, and when you look at Dinesh D'Souza, the social media post from him trying to blame a college for radicalizing Tyler Robinson. Now, he went for 1 semester in 2021, pre-engineering major. But remember back in 2016 when Donald Trump said he loves the uneducated? The reason why they love the uneducated is because they can continue to manipulate them. And they can continue to point to other people and say, that's the problem. That's why your Medicaid is being taken. Oh, we're trying to get rid of the undocumented immigrants on Medicaid. So we're going to kick these people off. That's why you're losing your job. OK, this is what they're doing. And you mentioned January 6th, because I was going to mention this the first time around. You know, where was all the praying and talking about love and Jesus and forgiveness on January 6th? I ain't see any of that. When they were attacking police officers and assaulted over 140 police officers, a lot of these people act like January 6th did not take place, act like that wasn't political violence. You know, they say the political violence is coming from the left. We've never done anything like that. Attack the U.S. Capitol, try to overthrow the government. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. And they're going to continue to fight one another. And African Americans need to step back and let them fight each other.
All I'm saying, y'all, more details are going to come out about Tyler Robinson, and it's not going to be good for the right wing. It's not going to be good for them at all. And you know what? Y'all can't blame black people. Y'all can't blame the left. Y'all can't blame trans. Y'all can't blame feminists. Y'all can't blame. You're going to have to get that big ass mirror and look at yourselves and look at, again, let me remind people, they're calling this guy a groyper. That's Nick Fuentes' group. This is the same Nick Fuentes who Kanye West took to eat a meal with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. These people are eating their own, and they're losing it because they can't blame it on the left. Because there's nothing about Tyler Robinson that yells Democrat, progressive. And now they're trying to spin it, he was radicalized in college. Nope, that dog just ain't gonna hunt.
Be sure to register for my new online history course. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. This class is on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to start Saturday, August 6th, 2025. Go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and scroll down. This is African empires, the Moors, and the transatlantic slave trade, 5000 BC to 1800 AD. This is a 10-week online course. We're actually going to start on Saturday, September 6th. Click right here to register. Class is on sale, $80. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. And one of the things we'll talk about are various African empires, whether we talk about ancient Nubia or the Kush Empire, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, Great Zimbabwe, Carthage, the Nok culture. We're going Meroe, Axum. We're going through and looking at history, thousands of years of history, various African empires, and then also we'll deal with the transatlantic slave trade and how it evolved. So we'll look at history from 5000 BC through 1800 AD. You'll get 5 of my lectures in digital download format free with this. And then also be sure to download our class lesson plan here as well. Click on the download button to download our class lesson plan. And visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Our social media handles are here as well. And you can email me through the website. Just click on contact the African History Network. So this class is PG-13. You can use this content with your children. Also, I don't do a lot of cursing or anything like that. It's very visual. There are 80 to 100 articles that we reference in the class. I show you the articles on the screen. The 15 books that we reference. You don't have to buy any of the books. We show you the books we show you the pages of the books on the screen as well. And there are 200 slides in the class also. Okay. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. There are video clips that we show, excerpts of interviews I've done with some of our historians. I've been teaching this class on and off since 2017. So it has evolved immensely since then. Also, you can support the African History Network through PayPal and Cash App. We have the information right on the homepage of my website. If you scroll down, $ the AHN show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. This is our Cash App. Tag $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael and show my picture there. Okay, these are some fake African History Network Cash App accounts that have been stealing money from us. And I put our tag right here. Here's our link to our Cash App, QR code. Okay, so you can support us there if you want to donate support us $5, $10, $15, $25, $50, $100, whatever it is. It definitely helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, pay some of the bills, and broadcast the Sunday night show also. And here's our link for PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Okay. All right. So look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we